Matt Sass.
Sassy Matt.
Sassy Matt.
Sassy Matt.
Oh man.
Ah, welcome to the call. It's your Freestyle Friday.
Yes. I will start us with gratitudes because it is Mando Grado Friday.
Mando Grado Friday. You get to.
I get to. Mine is definitely one. It's two parts. First part is that all the storms and stuff we had last night weren't, the tornadoes didn't actually get into town. They stayed, there was about 10 of them. They stayed outside of town, which was great. We got a lot of hail and I've got broken windows and window casings, but it could have been so much worse. So I'm super grateful for that. But oh man, it's gonna make me teary again. And but one of the things that I'm most grateful for, um, it's inside our EXP world, is all the connections that and friends that I have made all over the country. I've gotten so many text messages just checking on us this morning, like, oh my gosh, are you okay? We saw this on the news. My weather chaser, my favorite storm chaser was in your town. Are you okay? And I'm like, that's just amazing. Like it makes me, gah, I can't make it stop. But it's just
Here's
incredible
here's
relationship.
here's I'm gonna suggest something. I'm just gonna put something out there just because one of the number one reasons why a lot of people aren't making a move to our platform, which can actually change their business and change their life, is because they feel as if they're going to lose that connection. And your story is one I think that needs to be told for those that might be not making a move because they think that their office of 12 people, three of which only come to the office and everyone else ignores them, is the reason why they should stay put.
Yep.
Right. So, not it's not about like advertising or making, I think that
Sure.
we have to share these
Yeah.
stories, especially those that coincide with the objections that people have about making any kind of move. Anyway, so I'm glad you're safe.
Me
I'm glad
too.
you're good. Just a couple windows could be replaced.
Oh yeah. That's not that big of a deal. My car. So I
Your
have
car, your poor car probably looks like
well, looks like a golf
a
ball
Chinese
on
checkerboard.
one side. Yeah. It's Trevor, we have just he has a really old truck. He loves his trucks. Old red. It's like a 93 something Chevy truck, right? Well, we just have liability only on his because the insurance is more than the car is worth, but we have liability only. So we put my car outside and put his car in the garage because I've got full coverage. So yeah, my half of it looks like a golf ball.
Hey, you get a
It's
new windshield now then.
yeah, get a new windshield because I knew you would need one. You know this. A new windshield, a new whole left side of the car. Maybe it just totals it out and I just go get a cash car and don't have a car payment anymore. That's an
You'll be
old.
surprised when they start calculating all the panels and all the poles.
Oh, it's from head to tail,
Yeah.
all around the frame, everything. So it's bad.
Who's next? Mando Grado Friday. So I'll go next. So like this afternoon we get to go and we're taking a look at vehicles for Christy. And I found one online and I'm like, I love it. And then I mentioned to Christy what it was, and she's like, so I remember growing up and thinking that certain car brands meant that you were old. And
Yippee.
and I'm like, nah. But then I'm like, well, we're gonna go take a look at this Lincoln Aviator. And Christy's like, ew, a Lincoln? She
Oh,
didn't
it's
even look at it yet. And she goes, a Lincoln. She goes, I will not. I was like, take a look at it. It looks badass. It looks like a Range Rover, right? Like, take a look at this Aviator. And she goes, I'm not gonna drive a Lincoln. I'm way too young for a Lincoln. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, no, you're not. Like you're the perfect demographic for the new Lincoln. And then I'm like, at what point are you now old enough where there's no such thing as a car brand that's for older people? And I'm like, I now like now all the cars work for me. I'm like, this is great.
those new Lincolns are sweet. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's nice. Did she
So,
like it?
well, we're going this afternoon.
Oh, today, yeah.
And she really likes the Hyundai Palisade, and we look at it. We looked at the Explorer as well, and then she really liked the Palisade. But I'm like, well, if you like the Palisade, you're gonna love the Lincoln. She goes, but Lincoln's for old people, and I was like, you're old though, but you're
No,
old.
she's not old.
She's no spring chicken. We're both seasoned adults.
Maybe, but no, we are not old. I'm right there with you. We're all there. We're not
Yeah.
old. We're not.
Lincoln is for successful people,
That's
not
exactly
for
right. That's what I
old.
said.
Yes.
That's what I said. That's what I said. It's top shelf. It's top shelf Ford.
There you go.
Top shelf Ford.
Yeah, it's like Lexus to Toyota. It's the
Yep.
Lexus of Ford. So, anyways, just that just gave me a little tickle.
All right. Well, I am thankful for several things, but I met with some past clients and they're going to be listing their house with me. So I'm
Yeah.
thankful for meeting with them. And also yesterday we had a great little uh, open house for Midwest Dream Team's office, and it was wonderful. It was exciting. Sorry if I took that, Michelle. I, but she has more to add anyhow, I'm sure. But that was wonderful. It was exciting, and the girls, the shells, did an awesome job. So,
It looked
um,
fun. I had
yeah.
FOMO.
It was fun. It was fun. We had a really good turnout. I kind of freak out at the last minute on events. Like, did I invite enough people? Or enough people going to show up that we're going to like, because you have sponsors and you don't want it to be a bust. And it was great. There were people that showed up just because they love us and wanted to support us, and other people that wanted to know more about the builder that was there, or that like we had a couple people that want to potentially join the team. So it was pretty cool.
Sounds like a super successful event.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was good. So obviously I'm grateful for that. I've got 2 closings today. And then honestly, on a personal note, I hit my deadlift PR today, and like I increased by 70 pounds. I had a coach that just kept pushing me to like, you can do more, you can do more.
Yeah.
And I totally blew it out of the water. So it was just a reminder of how, how we can like tell ourselves a story in our head.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it gets us stuck. Like it makes us, to the point, like physically believing we can't do something that we can. I don't know. It was weird.
One of the most dangerous things that you can do is believe your own limitations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Yeah. Pretty soon we're gonna see you on like World's Strongest Woman, flipping cars.
I'm still a pretty broken body. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Flipping cars on a trampoline.
Ooh, maybe.
Brooke, you're next.
Hi.
Hey.
I am thankful that I am headed to a closing and to buy an investment property with my lender. So
It's your property?
yes, me and him are buying it. He's a lender partner that I've been working with for like actually about almost 8 years now. And
Wow, cool.
he's watched me do some other properties, and he told me he wanted to do one with me. So found us a house and we're buying it today.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Way
I'm
to
like
go.
half dressed, otherwise I'd be on video, but I'm like trying to get ready.
So what do you guys want to talk about? I've been like knee deep in like AI last 2 days. Phil Stringer came on our leadership call yesterday and shared just some ridiculousness. I shared with you guys the rest of that entire slideshow. He had like 82 slides that also included, if you go start reading through it, in the middle or the beginning, he shared like 3 deep learning examples of how to use deep study for presentations, for listing and buyer presentations. And the prompts in there are pretty fantastic. And then you can take the reports from that presentation and throw it into Gamma, and Gamma will create a visual presentation with it. Michelle probably already knows this. This isn't new.
I think he did that for a different group.
Okay, cool.
That he had something set up for.
He showed
It
how
was
you
pretty
could
cool.
he showed how you could use Grok, which is free, Gemini, which is free, Deep Study with ChatGPT, and another one to create 4 deep learnings, and then put that into one document and say, put all the stuff together, compile the best report, make it simple, make it punchy, and then pump that out for the seller or for a buyer, and then put it into a presentation with graphics.
Yeah, he's got some pretty cool stuff. Like just really being able to use it and saying, we're already looking for your ideal buyer. This is what
That's
the ideal
what was
buyer
in
for
there.
your
Yeah,
home
that's the
looks like. Yeah,
presentation. Yep.
yeah.
How to
It's
set
pretty
yourself
cool.
apart from the at the listing appointment is with one of these reports was like, whoa. Especially when it comes into the higher price points
Mm-hmm.
of identifying, what are the fears, what are the pain points, what are the challenges for the high net worth buyer coming in, and how do you market to them, and how do you get them in? Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Very awesome. I can't wait to dig into it.
Word.
We have you ever heard of Airtable?
Yes.
Nerd out on you all. So that's what we're doing for our transaction coordination. We're setting up a platform for that. Same thing.
So
like
that's
a lot
through
of
Excel, right? Excel or a spreadsheet. Is Airtable?
It's like Excel. It's a
separate?
database. It's
Okay.
a database though, and it can do all kinds of really cool things. It takes a little bit of coding knowledge, but not like a ton. Like if you're good with Excel, you can figure it out. If you're not, you'd probably have to hire someone to do it.
Well,
it's
I
pretty
can't wait to
sweet.
see what you guys come up with.
It's fun.
It'll
It's
be-
fun, but like we keep trying all these transaction management software, and we're like, it does 80% of what we do, but not the other 20%. So being able to kind of build it out and customize is pretty darn cool.
If you want, there's a local, she's EXP. She was the broker at Madewell. She used to have a contract to close company, and they did everything in Airtable.
Oh, I would love to be connected if you could.
Is that Betsy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And
That'd be awesome.
Betsy's wonderful. But she would be happy. Her or also Caitlin, Jacoby's assistant, worked for Betsy at the C2C company.
Oh, nice.
But they did everything through Airtable. It was amazing.
I would love that. If you could help make that connection, that would be awesome.
I will put y'all in a group text.
I love when I get to talk about my nerdy stuff, and then you guys are like, I know another nerd like you that can help you.
We know nerds. I know nerds. I know nerds. Gosh, what else? Yeah, what else you got to talk about? Freestyle Friday.
I will say not of all of them, the majority of the agents that came through yesterday, the common theme that people were talking about was, oh, my listings are just sitting. It's definitely
Yesterday,
a thing.
So coaching, all the coaching calls this past week have been, this is the topic, right? So I've got an agent who has 17 active listings. All of them have gone through one price reduction. More than half of them are now approaching the median days on market. And then I said, cool. I said, so you figured out how to get listings. I said, now what's the next skill milestone for you? And I said, now it's about getting really good at aggressive price reductions and taking listings that make your stomach hurt.
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, you've already shown how you can get a listing and price it the way the seller wants it, but now can you get a listing and price it to what the market deserves?
Yeah.
And he's
So
like,
when I talked to my, client yesterday, I mean, it was my very first meeting with her. Well, I mean, I know her because she's a past client, but I talked to her and I said, here's what we're seeing with the market. And, I talked to her about it up front with the first meeting. And I said, here's what we're seeing. And we're seeing that houses are staying in the market. And that's showing us, I told her what that's showing us, that the market's slowing down. So the prices are not staying the same as what you've been seeing. Fortunately, she came from Texas. She's moving to Texas. So she's seen things. But you got to talk to them about it and kind of put that in their mind, even at that first meeting. or
Mhm.
even talking to them before, if they're just talking about listing in the future or whatever, you want to, put that in their ear.
We have a guy in town. He actually works for the Iowa Association of Realtors now. We have like this no coast MLS that he's in charge of, but he still continues to do these data reports, more for the agents to use instead of clients like he used to. And so we print those off every week now. That's become part of our weekly team conversation is what is happening in the market. And one of the aha moments that Amanda, our operations lead, brought to us on Wednesday was prices are down 5% from where they were last year in our market. I'm sure that's being experienced in other markets too. And so when we're doing our listing presentations, or even these listings we took 3 or 6 months ago that are still listed, the pricing could be off because what we originally based it on was numbers that are now, we're 5% less than we were in the time frame that we were using to do our market analysis.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and
That's
I had done they had let me know in February that they might be doing this. So I had done a preliminary market then, and then I had done one just this week. And so I told them the difference. I mean, there is a little bit of difference. So that was easier for me to show them, hey, here's the difference from February to now. There is. So
Yeah.
anyhow, you got to talk to them. You got to communicate.
Audra and Brooke, are you guys noticing like prices are dropping a little bit compared to last year, time on market's longer?
This is actually the first time in about almost 30 years that we've seen prices drop in Lubbock. Every year we've had increase. And so there's definitely some neighborhoods where it's like, oh, shoot, we priced below market value, but 6 months ago, 5 months ago, but now we're back at top because everything's coming down.
Yeah.
So that's not pleasant. Things are definitely sitting a lot longer in most price points, but then I had one yesterday that, I mean, it's under 200, so it was easier sell, but needs updates. It's cute. It's nothing special. In the first 3 hours, I had 8 showings and I got 2 offers. I'm like, this is bizarre. The house next door to it is sitting there and more updates. Price is a little bit higher, but not anything crazy. And it's been sitting there for 4 months. So it's just weird.
Yeah, it's definitely, I agree with you, awkward. So what is our messaging then? Like how do you put out a positive message to your sphere, your on Facebook, all of that, where we're educating and saying, hey, prices are down while still being positive about the market?
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, in 2008, Michelle, I can't remember, were you in the business then?
No.
Did you? I can't remember what year you went in the business, but anyhow,
Early 2000s.
2008, we had something similar. I mean, things were different, but we had the same type of thing where it went down a little bit. I think that you have to remember that sometimes this could either be the beginning or it could just be a little slump because this happens. I've seen it in the 27 years that I've been in the business, but I think you have to remind people too that, this could be the beginning or it could just be a little slump. So we don't want to say both, but we want to say, why don't we get in there while it's still a good market? Why don't we get it on the market before, we may see a downfall and still good. I mean, it's still a good market. It's not bad. It's not like it's a downturn, but it's not a downfall. It's still a good market. So we want to get in there. If they're going to think about put it in the market in the next 6 months, now would probably be a good time. Because what's the odds of it going down and then getting back up and be booming again? You know what I mean? It's not probably going to happen I would say in the next year or two, it's probably going to be, going down. And then I think now's a good time to put it on the market because it's not completely a buyer's market, but it's going that way. So now it's a good time to put it on the market because there's still buyers out there. We just need to price it right. But we got to work on how we say that to them obviously I'm not saying it in the, you got to work on your scripts and word it right to them so that they know that, hey, it's still a good time to sell, but you've got to price it right and get your home staged and make it ready, make it market ready. That's part of the thing, but people got to work on it. I think part of the problem is people are dragging their feet on getting their house ready so long that they're missing the boat.
One thing I've always said to buyers and sellers is, because everyone always wants to know, right, when's the best time to list? When's the best time to buy? Like like we have some magic thing that says, ooh, this day, right? I've always told people that the best time is when you're ready and it works for you and your family and your situation. So it doesn't necessarily matter as much if your life, if what you're doing, if you need to downsize, if you need to upsize, you're expecting a baby, you're moving for job. It depends on why you're moving. Like going back to motivation, the right time is when it's the right time for you. Now, yes, we're going to look at all the data. We're going to look at what the market is doing and we're going to price it accordingly. We don't want to be at the tip top where things are just sitting there, but we're going to make the house look dang good and we're going to make sure that we're priced competitively. But the right time is when it's the right time for you and your family, and then we just move forward accordingly.
Yeah, I feel like that's great for like the individual messaging. What about like the messaging overall though? Like to the larger audience, obviously like we're pretty active on Facebook and I think it's important to get this messaging out too. But how do you package that in a way that makes it seem like you're the market expert without scaring away sellers?
So I think the answer to the question is who's the end message for? And if it's for everybody, then it's not about good time to sell, good time to buy. It's this is the market. So being a market expert doesn't mean pointing out who it's better for. It's this is what's going on, this is why it's going on, and we're going to be watching this in the future so you can expect this or this to happen. And if somebody comes to you from as a seller's perspective and say, well, why would now be a good time for me to sell? You can say, well, over the last 5 years, the amount of equity increase is higher than it's ever been in the history of recorded mortgages. So right now, even though there's a temporary flatlining or maybe a slight retraction in closed sales prices from last year. Last year was also historically greater than the year before, which was historically greater. So you're still overall sitting on more equity now than you ever have in the past. And even though prices have gone down a little bit and things have slowed, we're still in a seller's market. We're still way above a 5-month inventory even in Lubbock, right? Lubbock's at what, 71 days on market? That's only 2.5 months. We're not even 50% of the way to a neutral market. It's still
I mean, we're
heavily
closer to 90.
what?
We're closer to 90 right
If
now.
you remove new homes
Mm-hmm.
from the equation, find out what that number is.
Yeah, that's the kicker. We were looking at that
If
too.
you
The
pull,
new homes.
if you pull only resale versus new homes, and see what those numbers are, because those are two very different stories. And when the
Yeah.
MLS throws the data, they bring them all together.
Yeah.
So I would, back to the original question, how do we market the message? I think the message is just about the market and not about good, bad, or otherwise.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
market. It is this.
And
That's
and
going to
look
create, yeah.
look where they bought their home for. I mean, like the one I was doing. I mean, they bought their home for half of what the market value is now. I mean, they doubled in price, so that makes it easier to talk to them about it most of the time. But if you
Yeah.
have one that didn't have that, you know, then it's a little harder. But
Yeah.
they've owned the home since 2016. So really they did
Right.
pretty well, you know. It's up to us to do the research and be, like you said, I'm sorry, I'm talkative.
It's freestyle. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules.
I was going to answer your question earlier. in St. Louis, I mean, I have noticed a huge change. I mean, just in like probably the last 8 weeks. I mean, and the number of people that are getting on like our office pages and stuff and saying like, I had nobody at my open house and all these things. And I've got 3 listings now that are just sitting on the market. So I don't know. I mean, and they were all priced great. Like 2 of them are staged. One of them, I even did a whole bunch of stuff for the guy to get it ready, and it's they're still sitting on the market.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I was just having a conversation in one of our like groups that kind of like higher producing agents. So you're not getting a bunch of chatter from people that aren't like selling anything. And I mean, it was across the board. I threw the question out there about what are you guys doing like about your, you know, your listings that are sitting? Like I need some new ideas and everybody started like chiming in that they're having problems with their listings. So yeah.
I think it's funny, and you've been in this long enough too. Like, if we think about pre-COVID and days on market, I mean, I think it's similar, if not still less than what we were experiencing, you know, back in 18, 19, right? But it feels so uncomfortable because we're used to like flying off the shelf. We're used to that instant gratification. So I think it's more than anything, it's agents feeling uncomfortable. And I think there's also like, you know, even higher producing agents, there's still quite a few agents that didn't get in until like they've only been agents since that 2020 timeframe. And so that's all they know. So then it feels, I don't know, we forget what it's like to have a normal balanced market.
Awesome. We got 1 minute to go.
A minute to win it.
If my friends on this call would be so kind as also to send over that video request that I had sent today, that would be super, super helpful. I was tasked to have everything compiled by the end of the day today. So
Right after this call. I'm not getting out of this chair until it's sent to you.
I have you on my calendar for 11.
I'm again grateful.
It makes me giggle though. Like, I'm like, you know, you're asking real estate agents for things when you have to ask and do a follow-up.
I just am simply emulating and inspecting what I expect. I know my audience.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, listen, have an amazing Friday. Have a killer weekend. Hopefully we get some sunshine here real soon with less hail. That'd be great.
Yeah. Stay safe, Audra.
My girls, anytime I see hail, my girls, they're always, it's their joke. They love to just go, what in the hail? What the hail?
Hell no.
What the hail?
Fox was like, well, hail. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what it is.
So, it was
That's
pretty
what
crazy.
it is.
So hopefully it breaks up before it gets here tonight. So
Mm-hmm.
check in about 5:30, 6 o'clock. That's when it's supposed to be wild. So we'll see what happens.
All right, y'all. All right, we'll be good.
Y'all have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.